Yo, Dirtheads, it's a rough week in the shop. I've got stuff going on the Jeep, on the Nissan. Hopefully get out and go do some wheeling. We've got all sorts of stuff going on. Hope you guys dig it. Where's my... There it is, Butter Jeep. Some of you guys probably haven't even ever seen this rig or know anything about it. This is my 94 Jeep YJ. I built this thing super inexpensive, and then I went ahead and started modifying like crazy. We'll get it into the shop, and I'll kind of show you around it a little bit more. I've got quite a bit of work to do on it. But first, we got to finish some stuff in the shop before we can drag that one in. I left for Christmas vacation or New Year's break or whatever, and I put the D50 up in the air so that I could park my Mazda under it and get a bunch of vehicles in here while I was gone. And I figure since I've got it up in the air, I might as well throw another fuel filter at it. And then maybe we can kind of go through and figure out some mods that this thing needs coming up here pretty soon. I don't know if we're gonna do them right now, but we can go ahead and start planning for the future, you know? All right, I had to lower it down to grab the fuel filter out of it. I keep one of these in the center console all the time, and I figured now is as good a time as any to address the damage on this. Basically, I've got people in comments on social media, YouTube, everything, and they're all just like, oh, I can't believe you haven't thrown the fender and door on it yet. That looks junky. And yeah, it does. It looks terrible. Other guys are saying I should be able to just hammer and dolly this and bring this back out. Well, it's been hammered and dollied and brought back out at some point in its life, and the whole bottom of the fender is actually ripped off of the truck and then just like self-tapered back on. The other thing you can see is the door. That's the door hinge right there. So there's a bunch of damage to the door itself where like the whole inner structure is caved in. And then if you look here, this is pretty wild. The rocker panel is all normal through here, and then it starts rolling and getting pushed in. So you go in here and you can see it even more. This whole A-pillar, lower basically from the dash down and where the lower door hinge is, along with the rocker and a section of the floor is all caved in, and all that's pushed in like an inch. So in order to fix this thing properly, I need to pull the door and the fender off, get them kind of mocked up in place, and then take it to a body shop and have it put on a frame machine and see if we can pull out that rocker and the lower portion of the A-pillar. If that doesn't work, then I gotta cut a whole section out of a donor vehicle and replace like the rocker, the door jamb, the floor pan, all of that. So it's a little bit more work than it looks like on camera, and I'll get to it. I just haven't had time to make it right yet. All right, enough about that. Let's throw a fuel filter in it. All right, let's see how dirty this filter was. Every time I change this, the thing is just packed with rust. And I know I can pull the tank and spin it around with a chain in it and do all that, but I'm gonna just keep changing these filters until I stop seeing a bunch of rust. This one's not as bad as the last one was. Pouring it out here in my hand, yeah, there's a bunch of crap in there. Look at that. I don't know if you can see that very good or not, but there's a bunch of junk in that fuel filter. All right, we'll throw another one on there and call that part good for now. Then we'll move on to something else. I've actually got a starter for this thing. It's been really hard to start lately, so I picked up a starter at Rock Auto, I think, because it was dirt cheap. And we'll throw that in. Hopefully that cures that. Hopefully it's not like a flywheel or flex plate or whatever. All right. Done deal. What do we got? What do we got? Some soapstone. All right, I got a silver pencil. All right, fuel filter's done. Before I go do that boring starter, I want to chop this cross member. I have been getting stuck on speed bumps. I actually went over to Best Buy the other day to get some stuff for my GoPro, and I got stuck on a speed bump out front. Not so bad that I had to have somebody help me push off of it, but it was like, it was hung up. I got over on this one and then I got stuck on this, so I had to like back up and kind of ram it to get up over the speed bump on this cross member. So I figure I might as well chop this one up and just kind of do it old school style. Like, don't overthink it. Just shorten the cross member so that I don't have problems with it hanging down below the frame rails. This one, if you look at it right now, it is, holy cow. This is a 3/4 inch piece of bar. So this cross member is hanging probably 1.25 inches lower than the frame rails. So when you're going over a speed bump, it's definitely easy to get hung up on that. You can tell by all the scrapes on it. Like on the Nissan, I kind of went in and did everything at once and burned out on that project. This one, I want to do things in like smaller increments. So let's just go ahead and chop up a cross member tonight. Even though this one up here hangs down a little bit, I'll worry about that another day. And we can mess with this one right now. Where did I put that? There it is. Jeez, losing my mind. All right, let's chop this thing up. I've just got a piece of flat bar going across the frame rail, and I'm gonna mark this thing where I want to cut it. Yes, it's going to be weaker. And I'm not too worried about that. What I'm worried about is not getting stuck on speed bumps, and we will cap it off so that it's strong enough. This thing is massive. This plasma cutter should sit about 1/8 inch off of that. About 1/8 inch off of there. And that'll give me enough room to cap it and have it not hang below the frame rail. Make a guesstimate on where level is on that. There it is, look at that. Aha! Half a canoe, a full canoe, half a cross member. Awesome. Now we're Minittruckin. Let's clean this thing up so we can weld a piece to it and have it turn out nice. All right, I need some 2.5 flat bar would probably work. 3-inch flat bar would be perfect. And something about 26 inches long. Let's go see what we got. All right, that works. Let me actually go grab that piece I cut out and we can kind of use it as a template. We'll go right here. So kind of go a little big with it. That should give me enough of an overlap to like get a nice clean weld on what's left over there. That's my jam right there. There we go. That's gonna be so good. And grind that thing up and we'll go weld it on. I kind of feel like I'm cheating. Back in the day, I would have been like laying on my back in my parents' driveway doing this modification. Unless it was at work, then I would have been doing it on a lift probably. I'll kind of pressure this thing up in there, and then I'll go and push these corners up when I tack them. This one, the old Miller 252, this thing's good. Set it up at 18,250. That's kind of the magic number for this thing. All right, we got pressure up top. I've got my side to side pretty good. I'm gonna push these corners up and then we'll tack it. And then I'll grab my straight edge or flat edge and see if we're up high enough. Should be. It doesn't really matter if it is or not. This is where it's living. There we go. I've got it all welded up and smoothed down and primered gray. The thing looks awesome. Super cool. Strong enough, high clearance. Look at that. Let's see. Even with the other side of the frame, it's like right there. We've got all the clearance we need now, at least on that cross member. I'm gonna go ahead and paint this thing black with some Ace Rust Stop on this one. I should go and do this cross member, the transmission one, but it is quite a bit more work than that one was. So we'll do that another night. When we do it, we'll probably also have to redo the exhaust because it's hanging below the frame a little bit. So right now we'll get in here, we'll slam a starter in this, paint this black, get this thing off the lift, and then try and drag the old Jeep in here. All right, let's knock out this starter. I've been messing around, not getting nearly enough done tonight, but I'm kind of enjoying my shop time, which is good. That makes it more fun. I'm gonna disconnect the battery so I don't shock myself. And let's see if I can get part of this from up top or if it's an all from underneath job. It's packed in there. I think it's probably an underneath job. Let's go back up with the truck. All right, a couple of electrical connections and a couple of bolts, and this thing should be ready to come out of here. Let's see if we can fish this thing out of here. It's a tight fit. It like goes right up against the motor mount and right up against this clutch cable. Can we get it down and out from here? Aha! Got it. The gears on the starter motor don't look too messed up. Let's see how the teeth on the flywheel look. I got to it before it was getting too bad. I think we're gonna be okay. I think it was mainly just the starter solenoid wasn't throwing out the Bendix every time. Let's make sure this one matches the new one and we'll throw it in. Here we go. This one should fit back up in there easier at least. It's like half the size. All right, I'm gonna run these bolts. I'll get on there. There we go. All right, I'm gonna run these bolts in and plug the connections back up, hook up the battery. If this thing starts, I'm gonna be stoked. If it doesn't, then I'll go in for the night. Come on down. Okay, battery's hooked up. We got a new fuel filter in. We got a high clearance cross member. We got a new starter. Let's see if it wants to run. I need my keys. Hold, please. Fuel pump is pumping. Look at that. That thing fired right up. Radical. I'm gonna get this thing out of here. We'll get the Jeep pulled in and we can start doing the LS swap. Finally, let's get that thing done. I gotta get a jack so I can get this thing off the lift. All right, I got the Jeep off the trailer. I'm gonna try and winch it in here. The battery's totally roached though, so it's just running on this little Harbor Freight charge box, jump box. Here we go. This is gonna be kind of a hard pull. It's pulling the rig sideways. I gotta be careful I don't bind up the cord because it's just pulling on one side. The jump box is getting low. It's at like 9 volts. It's still hanging in there. Come on, thing. You got this. This is pretty impressive, actually. All right, we got 2 wheels in. I think we're good. If we get the back tires in, I can push it the rest of the way. Haha, we're in. Stoked. All right, it's Sunday morning. I got the Nissan and the Jeep in here, getting ready to do some engine work, but I got word that there is a D50 at a local wrecking yard. So I think I'm gonna run out and go see if I can scoop up a fender and a door, or at least see if there's some good parts. I have quite a bit for the D50 that I've got, but this one is has the same stripe package. It's a yellow truck, but it's got the same stripe package, and I feel like that might look kind of cool. Let me go. I'm trying to get over here to, what do I have stashed over here? Oh, I've got a chrome bumper, front bumper for one of these things, and I got a blue tailgate door and fender. This thing's not perfect. I want to at least go and see if the stuff that they have down at this wrecking yard is better. So I'm gonna jam. We'll see if I can get some goods. Ugh, sorry, it's so shaky. I'm gonna jam, see if we can get some goods down here. I'm also on the hunt for a back door for one of these troopers, but we'll get to that later. All right, following this lead, and here it is, yellow D50 sport package. Same truck as mine. This would have been a 79. Oh, it is an 80, just like mine. This thing's good. No, it's not. It's junk. Check it out. Bottoms of the fenders are all rusted off. The one side I do need, the driver's side, is worse than that one. It's rusted down in the front, smashed in through here and rusted through there, and the driver's door is rusted through. So there's not really much that I can use off this thing other than it's got good taillight lenses. I think I'll probably grab those and call that a win. It'd be neat if there was more stuff. The other thing I was thinking about was the grill, because this is a single headlight version, and they're kind of hard to come by, but the grill's broken up. So I followed a lead. It's not great, but I'll at least grab some taillight lenses. I have one broken one and one that's like super fogged out. Let me grab a screwdriver and we'll get that thing out of there. I'm going over here to grab my screwdriver to get these lenses, and I look over behind me and look at that. A chrome Pathfinder turned into a jack stand. Kind of a shame. A lot of these wheels ended up like that because they were steel and they were plentiful for a while. And a lot of them got welded to other wheels to become junkyard jack stands. Boo. It's funny, these ones looked too nice for this truck, and sure enough, they got markings on them. Whoever owned this truck had bought these at a wrecking yard and put them in because they were in better shape than the ones this truck probably had beforehand. I've kind of killed most of my Sunday, but we can at least we can get some of this stuff figured out. Tires back off. It seems like that's all we ever do is put tires on this thing and then take the tires back off. Hopefully this time it actually drives out of here. Before I mess with any motor stuff, I feel like I should get in here and finish welding these motor mounts. I got most of it done with the engine in place. And now that it's out of the way, I can come in and kind of finish the job. I went ahead and coated all of this stuff in WD-40. That way the motor mounts, even though they're bare metal, they didn't rust anywhere near as quick as they would have. So my cleanup right now before I paint them is pretty minimal. Now we just got to kind of clean up. I think I'll probably clean up a little bit of the frame and paint a little bit before we go and throw that other motor in here, the other engine. It's kind of a mess, but it's really a simple vehicle, so there's not a whole lot to do. I like it. I'm sure you guys are tired of seeing this thing, but I want to drive it. It's got a dead short in the brake light system and the dome light. I can drive it without a dome light, but I need brake lights. So we're gonna just sort of poke around on this thing. I got my electrical tools out. We'll figure out what's up with this thing and how I can fix it. If all goes well, I'm gonna cruise it to car night tonight. It is already 5 o'clock on a Tuesday. All right, let's fix this thing. So obviously I did a ton of work on this thing, cutting and grinding and cutting the floor out. Unfortunately, I think I created a problem. Hang on, I'm trying to get the flashlight. Unfortunately, I think I created this problem, and now I've got to figure out how to fix it. I keep popping fuses. As soon as I step on the brakes, pops a fuse. As soon as I even put the dome light fuse in, it pops that. I was hoping that we would end up with like a chewed wire from a mouse up in here, but I haven't found it. So we're going to have to actually do some real diagnostics. I'm going to go ahead and power probe this brake light switch. I should push this button and we get tail lights, or I push this button and we blow the circuit breaker. We blow the circuit breaker. So it popped the circuit breaker, which means I've got a short somewhere between the brake light switch and the tail lights. Let's start chasing that down. There's a harness back here with a plug that goes to both sides of the taillights. So if I undo that plug, I should be able to power these brake lights on, and that'll eliminate if that's the problem or not. And then we're just working from there forward. Here's the fun stuff. A friend of mine forwarded me wiring diagram for this truck. So I gotta go in here and figure out the tail light plug and which one is actually going to the brake light bulbs. It looks like brake light switch is here. That comes down the green with the yellow tracer. Should be brake lights. Those are clearance lights. So green with the yellow should carry on all the way to the brake light bulbs. Grab this power probe and let's see if we can make these light up. I just ripped it off the battery. Let's go hook that back up to the battery. Green with the yellow should be positive, and opposite corner black should be ground. So if I give ground to this and I go here and I put power to it, we should have brake lights. We have brake lights? Yep, we got brake lights. All right, there's not a problem way back here in the wiring harness to the taillights themselves. So now we got to trace it forward. All right, I think I'm kind of narrowing it down. The brake light itself is functioning, the taillights are functioning, the wiring harness is good back there. Basically, I have something going on with this brake, somewhere between the brake light switch and it distributing power up to the third brake light and out to the back. I'm digging into this quarter panel and it seems like there's way more damage from the fire that I had that burned up the old one of the buzzers. It apparently raged up through here and it smoked a bunch of the wiring back in there, which is a total bummer. I am likely going to have to pull the dash out to get to this wire bundle that's like right here. I can't really get at it, and I believe that's where the problem is. Let's see if I can kind of show you. You can see pretty much nothing, but this block here got so hot the whole block like melted and came down a little bit. And then way up there, there's another bundle. There's another big wiring harness that's like smoked pretty bad. So I feel like the problem I'm gonna have is gonna be kind of bigger than just fixing the brake light switch and the dome light switch. I think those are the two problems that are like just like in my face right now, but I have a feeling there's plenty of other little problems, like these speaker wires that got smoked going into the door. And I think that might be part of the reason why the radio wouldn't turn on and stuff. So I'm still hustling on this thing, and check this out. I went in here and I pulled a bunch of wiring out. I found a bunch of burnt stuff. The harness that I was questioning, this one that goes up here to the dome light to the third brake light, right back behind here, it is absolutely fried and melted to the body. And that's where my short was. That's where my short was. Check this out. Let me step on the brake while I'm holding the camera. We've got brake lights. We don't have a third brake light anymore, but that's okay. We've got freaking brake lights. Oh my gosh, so frustrating. This thing has some serious issues. Like I probably need to get in here and pull the dash and like figure out how much of this. There's a big wiring bundle that it has like the insulation on it is all charred, and right next to that was the little wire that comes up here to the dome light, and that's why the dome light and the brake light was popping fuses. So we are figuring it out. I just disconnected it. There's actually a little plug back there. So I just have this disconnected. We got brake lights. I can drive the truck. Holy cow. There are major other problems, but at least that's kind of a weight off my shoulders. I was really worried that it was going to be like replacing an entire wiring harness, which it still could be because there's so much mouse damage under the hood, but I can drive the truck. That's a win. All right, I'm going to kind of take some notes on everything that I have found damage on, just so that as I'm going back and trying to fix this thing, maybe I'll have a clue as to how much I need to repair. But holy cow, if all goes well, I'm going to drive this truck to work tomorrow. Stoked. Oh man, as you can see, today didn't really go as planned. It snowed like crazy last night. I ended up not being able to drive the truck to work this morning because I needed four-wheel drive and this one doesn't have it. So the Nissan sat idle once again, which is kind of lame, but at least it has brake lights. At least it's a little bit more ready to drive. At least we have the butter Jeep in the shop getting ready for the V8 swap completion. This thing's not leaving the shop until it drives out of here. I hope it's soon. I'm gonna have to get hustling on it. I'm heading up to Grind Hard tomorrow So I'm gonna have to kind of call it quits as far as shop work goes this week. Didn't get a ton done, but we're making moves. We're making moves. I appreciate everything you guys are doing. Thank you guys all for purchasing sweatshirts and t-shirts and subscribing and doing all that stuff. We just hit 150,000 subscribers on this channel, which is wild. And I hope we can just keep growing. It's been super fun. So if you guys are enjoying it, I'm enjoying it. Since I kind of shorted you on fab work in the shop this week, here's a little clip, a little video that I put together showing some snow wheeling in the little Suzuki last weekend. All right, hope you guys get rad this weekend. We'll see you later. Little simple dirt head shed today. It's Saturday, a little bit after Christmas, and I was kind of bored. Didn't really want to work in the shop, so I'm gonna just go do a little dirt roading in the Suzuki. Try and test out my skills with the OnX a little bit better and see if maybe I can find a cool trail that's kind of nearby. My buddy John should be here pretty soon, and we're just gonna go and try and do a little bit of dirt roading before he has to do dinner with the family. All right, let's see what we get into. Here he comes. Looking good. Do you have any idea where we're going?
No idea.
Okay.
OnX will tell us.
All right. I uploaded the map offline, or whatever, so it shouldn't drop out. I'm cruising in the Suzuki, which I did some videos on this thing about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. I did like a little bit of a lift kit on this thing from Ironman Offroad or Ironman 4x4, and just has some Falcon Ruby Treks on it, which are like their all-terrain for like the lighter vehicles. They're kind of made for like Subarus and stuff like that. But this thing's kind of unassuming. It actually works really good. It four wheels well. It's comfortable. I drive the tar out of this thing. It'll eventually be my daughter's car. So I do need to like get it into the shop here pretty soon, and we're gonna do a few things to it. Throw some new headlights in it, maybe some off-road lights, so it's like she has an option for when it's like super dark out. And then I've got like these vent visors on it, and this one is broken. I think we're gonna ditch those. My daughter says they're old man visors and she doesn't want them on the rig, so I'm kind of okay with that. I'm just chasing John down the highway, and we'll go see if we can find this section of Washington state land that says it's legal to drive motorcycles, Jeeps, anything on, but it also says it has a gate. So I'm hoping that the gate is open this time of year. We'll see. I'm gonna go ahead and just jump right into offline maps because I'm already like losing signal. So we go into offline maps. All right, this is the section we're going for, that little area of white squiggly lines inside of the green box. The green box is the offline map that I downloaded at home, and anything inside of that should be saved to my phone or to the app. So I want to get into that section of trails where where all the white squiggly lines are, and that's gonna be all Washington state land. And I looked it up earlier. It said that everything in there is open to like off-road vehicles, quads, motorcycles, 4x4s, snowmobile, whatever. It just says it has a gate at one end of it. So I've got to figure out if there's a way to access that land. We'll go to the easy spot first, and if the gate's closed, I guess we're done. But I'm also curious if there's other ways to access it, because it does look like there's multiple trails that go into it. You just got to make sure that you're not trespassing in order to get there. So I don't know, it should be kind of fun, kind of a cool way to get out of the house for a little bit, not actually have to work on rigs. Just go enjoy my little boring SUV. I bet you this thing smashes though. If we get into snow, this thing dominates, I hope. All right, I got to catch up to John. This is cool. Old Chief Petroleum. I've never explored around over here, but I don't think there's going to be any shortage of cool junk to look at. we've only got a few hours to kill. He's got Hanukkah going on at his house this evening, and he can oh my gosh. There was a Ghent side Ford with an old chrome worn bumper on it with a stand-up winch. So much cool stuff. This is kind of cool. Oh my gosh. 57 Edsel back there. Old tavern that says it's open. Cool old building. Clayton Moose Lodge. Rad. There's a little Plymouth Valiant over there. This isn't good. I don't need to go looking for old cars, but I can't stop. I can't stop. Oh my gosh, look at that old wrecker. I need to not get out of the garage. I just want to buy everything. Oh, there's an old Nissan Maxima, or a Subaru GL wagon. All right. Focus, David. So the green line that we're following is actually considered a light, easy, gravel graded road / trail. And here we go. We have made it to dirt. Let's see where this takes us. This right here is why I couldn't live where I do and own a Harley. Every road that you want to be on seems like it ends up turning to dirt eventually. So I've got my dual sport, little DRZ 400, and that thing's awesome. I can come up here and explore on that and cover some ground that would be kind of difficult to do on a big old street cruiser. This old Dodge truck. It's funny, I'm sure all the local kids like know all about all these back roads and everything, but I didn't get a chance to grow up here. I'm having to like relearn this whole area, or I'm having to learn it in my 40s, which is fun, but it's a little like, I don't know, it would have been cool growing up here and just probably ripping this road on my dirt bike or a three-wheeler or something as a kid, you know? There's houses and stuff up off of it, but I think the majority of this is going up to mile marker 1 is going up to a it says U.S. Forest Service gate closed ahead. Well, I guess we'll find that out on our own. It feels like we're getting pretty deep out here in the woods. We're only 2 miles in on this like logging road operation. So rad. I love it. Little creek running over there. We're pretty close to that upper entrance. We're gonna go up here and make a right in probably a half mile or so, and then see if we can like come around to the top of it. There's gates everywhere though. We should be coming up on the right here in a second. What are we gonna find? It's getting slippery now. Getting slippery. John's Jeep just back there looking all majestic. This is the right. So there's a bunch of signs that say private property, private drive, no trespassing up there, which means I probably shouldn't go up there. All right, we're gonna ditch the idea of getting into that Washington state land right this minute, but I am gonna keep following this road that we're on and see where it takes us. It's really cool. We're at a split right now, And let me zoom out and see which way I want to go. We want to go right. This is cool. Oh, I guess we're gonna find out what's up here. This is totally just a normal, legal road. It's just more fun because it's covered in snow. You gotta be kind of careful you don't end up with somebody on a side-by-side or a Subaru just ripping around these corners. The potholes are getting bigger. This is rad. This is so cool. All right, I think we've got our new plan. We're gonna follow this road all the way over here and down to, where did it go? Over this Ponderosa Lake. And then we should be able to like follow this other road out of Ponderosa Lake and then back into town pretty easily. Huh, pretty fun. We've got 1 hour of exploring and then you got a buggy, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do this. We're gonna head down this little trail over here and see what it takes us to. What do we got? What are these prints? Those are probably just dog prints. We got a trail over here that's obviously got an old gate and a blockade. And then we got a trail over here. We're gonna run over here and see where this goes. No tracks on this. This is actually the one I was looking for on my map, which is cool. This should run us down to a lake that has another road that exits out of it. See how she goes. Spinning tires here. This is so rad, so fun. First of the little trees down that I figured we would run into. Popped right up over the ridge. Shot. All right, ran out of juice on that one. I'm gonna have to throw it in low and keep the RPMs up a little bit more. Not low range, we'll just try and hold it in like second gear. Suzuki's kicking butt. Is this the end of our road? It says keep out private drive, posted private property road closed to all unauthorized vehicles. I think this has enough written on it to let me know that I shouldn't be heading down that path. We're gonna turn it around, head back home, John's gonna make it in time for Hanukkah, hopefully. I'm gonna get back to the shop. We'll keep working on stuff. The little Suzuki just smashes out here though. This thing does so good. Heck yeah, stoked on it. All right, I think that's it for this dirt head shed. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.